This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And on this special edition of Nevada Newsmakers, we got a lot going on. We're going to start out by going to State Senator Bob Beers, who is asking the governor to either call a special session of the legislature to get rid of gasoline and diesel taxes for the next couple of months, or to actually issue an executive order to take care of that. Senator Beers, I certainly would appreciate about a 17.5-cent drop in the price of gasoline, but on the way into work this morning, I was listening to the radio, and gas prices have dropped a little bit in the last 24 hours, and gasoline futures have dropped dramatically in the last 24 hours. What do you make of that, and how does it go along with your proposal?
I wonder if we scared them off.
Wouldn't that be great?
I don't know.
Explain your proposal briefly, if you would.
Well, I was filling up Sunday in Lovelock, and I think we paid $3.09. And the thought came to me that really the state has a pretty small amount of influence over gas prices, but the one area that we do have is fuel taxes. And so by foregoing our fuel taxes for a couple of months, we might be able to get through this hopefully temporary spike in prices. The money that we get from that at the state level goes to fund DMV and to fund our road construction projects, which obviously we have to carry on. But we have $150 million cash on hand in the rainy day fund. We could use that to backfill the $45 to $50 million that it would cost that we'd forego at the state level by taking this step.
Senator Beers, if you were in Lovelock getting gas, you must have been at the two stiffs. But I want to ask you now, this rainy day fund, we just got it replenished just seemingly a few months ago, and now you want to tap into it. What about any future recession or any future crisis that we may face?
Well, you're always going to have that question whenever something dramatic happens. Is what we're going through now qualify as an event big enough to tap the rainy day fund?
Yeah, it's hard to say to some people.
It is, and that's what the collective wisdom of the 63 legislators and one governor would have to decide.
It's interesting. The response from the other gubernatorial candidates has been nobody's saying no, they don't want to do this, and they're saying that they may want to take a look at it. The last time you suggested the tax refund, the governor ended up going along with that plan. But I look at this and think of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. You now have changed the name to TASC. For my support of that is dependent upon having a large amount of money in the rainy day fund, about $500 million. Are you not hurting yourself in that effort with the business community to be able to draw down the rainy day fund?
Well, $500 million would probably be a percentage of our spending far in excess of any other state's rainy day fund. That's an awful lot of money, and I'm not sure that there's any consensus to have that amount of money set aside.
That was Carol Velardo's suggestion.
Okay, well, she's one person in the debate, and that, like I said, that is a tremendous amount of money. You have to understand that government has a unique ability to take money from its citizens, and that is something that makes a downturn as significant as you might find in the private sector extremely unlikely to occur. Recall that when we had our so-called crisis in 2003, in fact, our revenue was up.
Well, let me ask you one more quick question, because we're really out of time here. Gas prices rose significantly during the legislative session. Why didn't you suggest that back then?
Because they didn't rise as significantly as they've risen in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Bob Beers, it's going to be interesting to watch this, and we'll keep up with you on it. State Senator Bob Beers, thanks for being here. We'll be right back with State Senator Terry Kerr right after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program State Senator Terry Kerr, Democratic Senator from Clark County. Welcome to the program, Senator.
Good morning, Sam. Thank you.
Let's start out with the big topic of the day. Bob Beers came up with this idea of dropping the gasoline and diesel taxes in the state for a couple of months. It would cost about $42.5 million. What do you think about that?
Well, the guy you really need to ask that question of is Congressman Jim Gibbons. What's intriguing about this is that Bob Beers, you have to hand it to him, has shown a remarkable talent for defining the issues so far in this gubernatorial campaign. And now, of course, all of the candidates are going to have to deal with that issue. I heard it for the first time late yesterday, and, of course, the problem is not taxes and the legislature. I don't know when the legislature last raised the gas tax, but it's something we would, I'm sure, not even think about doing. The problem is the price of gasoline, and the peak driving season is over. I understand now that the refinery systems in the Gulf Coast are not as damaged to the extent that people thought.
They're up about 40%. They were at 5% last week. They're up to about 40% now.
Yeah, and so one would hope that on the theory of supply and demand that prices would begin to drop. But nonetheless, the idea that Senator Beers has offered is something that cannot just be dismissed out of hand. I'd like to know what kind of an impact it would have on the road projects we have ongoing and scheduled.
Well, he's saying that you should take the money from the rainy day fund and put that towards the roads, so the roads wouldn't hurt. It would actually be the rainy day fund that would be depleted by the $42.5 million.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that this is really a rainy day. It may be temporary. We just don't know yet, and there may be a legal issue there. I don't know that you could use those funds from the rainy day fund, but nonetheless, it's not an idea that should be dismissed out of hand.
Senator, let's talk about Hurricane Katrina for 1 minute. Of course, there's thousands and thousands of misplaced and unemployed teachers from the New Orleans Independent School District out of work. Why not bring some of those teachers into Clark County, which is suffering from a teacher shortage?
Well, we've been bringing them in from the Philippines, and I remember as long ago as in the late 1980s when I was in law school at the University of New Mexico, and I walked through the Student Union building at a job fair, and there was the Clark County School District back then trying to recruit teachers in New Mexico. If I were the school district, I would look at that. Unquestionably, there are going to be some people. I think the figure I heard lately is 800 people coming here from New Orleans because of Katrina. There are probably some teachers in there. There are certainly some teachers in New Orleans who do not have schools to go to right now, who would be willing to relocate. And while I haven't talked to anybody about that idea, it's something the school district probably ought to consider.
During the session, I tried desperately to get you on the program, and my sources tell me that you were very angry at some of the things that were going on there and didn't want to come on the show and talk about them at that time. Are you prepared to talk about what was upsetting you so much at the session?
I don't know if angry, frustrated might be a more appropriate word, Sam, but, you see this in every session up there. We have far too many bills introduced, far too many. I can live with the 120-day session every other year, but we have far too many bills. And what happens is you get toward the end of the session, and you get into this game of hostage-taking, which is almost always, there's ego involved here, there's partisan politics involved here, where people aren't any longer looking at what is good public policy. They're holding one bill hostage for another. It's a power game. Both parties do it, and it's done by both houses. And then you have the legislators who are glad to accommodate some very powerful lobbyists to sneak in entire pieces of legislation into conference committees, and all of a sudden you've got issues like the statutory figure now of $1,000 assessed value for every acre of every golf course in this state. And then I think you'll remember the brouhaha that arose with the out of nowhere, the notion that we were supposed to outlaw cab drivers taking tips when they delivered passengers at certain businesses. I spoke against both those measures, in part because I disagreed with them, but also in part because of the shoddy way that process in Carson City takes place when you get close to the deadline, and it's very aggravating.
Last quick question here. Are you going to be back in Carson City for the next session, 2007?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and I think that when any legislator is looking at the end of a term for which he or she has been elected, the proper thing to do is to reassess, why he or she ran for office in the first instance. And if the fire is still there and the sense of mission is still there, then by all means, run again. I have thrown myself into my law practice since coming back, but I'm still thinking about it.
Well, we hope you've got some logs in the fire there to rekindle, and we hope we'll be back in 2007. State Senator Terry Kerr, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on three goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
The last time we spoke with Kirsten Searer, she was a reporter for the Las Vegas Sun, nonpartisan. All of a sudden, she's taken a new job. She's communications director for the Nevada State Democratic Party. How did that happen, Kirsten?
Well, it's a much different change. But I got really excited when the party approached me and, talked about how organized they are now and how they want to turn things around in 2006. The 2000 two elections were kind of rough on Democrats, and they didn't pick up any of the state constitutional seats. And we really have a goal to just turn things around in 2006 and make a great showing. We have some wonderful candidates who are running, and so I decided it was a wonderful opportunity.
Well, Kirsten, are you going to put anybody in the Congressional District 2 race? It seems like it's all the front runners are all Democrats.
Oh, all
I mean, Republicans, excuse me.
We actually
never been a
are
front-running
talking to folks, and the DCCC out of Washington, who looks at funding candidates, has actually been really interested in this seat. It's an open seat, so of course it's not an opportunity that we want to miss. We want to run somebody strong. And, it's going to be a very competitive Republican primary, so certainly there's a bit of a Republican advantage in that seat, but it's open, and whoever comes out of that primary will spend a lot of money. Will maybe potentially be a little bit more vulnerable. And we have some wonderful people we're talking to. I think we can anticipate an announcement very soon. And, we're going to make a run for this.
Kirsten, I'm going to make a prediction right now. If a Democrat takes that congressional district, the three wise men will come over the hill. That is my prediction right now. Let me ask you this on a more serious note. With the whole Hurricane Katrina situation, it looks to me on a political level that the Democrats are going to end up benefiting from this in the long run. Do you agree?
Well, of course we're not looking to exploit this situation in any way. I think that the hurricane brings up some interesting points, though, especially when you look at some of the Republican measures that are being pushed right now. Like, take, for instance, the Tabor initiative that they're trying to run in Nevada, which is the taxpayers, it's modeled after the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights in Colorado. You look at it would basically hamstring the government and tie its hands. And we're concerned that if, we're looking at a major disaster like Katrina, we don't want the government to have its hands tied. We want the government to be able to respond to those kind of situations. So certainly Katrina has changed the national dialogue in many ways, and we need to talk about what would happen if something like that happened in Nevada.
Now, let's get back to the gubernatorial race in Nevada. If it comes, you're the communications director for the Democrats. If it comes down to Gibbons versus Gibson, how do you differentiate the candidates for your advantage?
Just in general name recognition and the confusion. Well, you mean because Gibson is considered a more conservative?
Well, it's just the names are so close. Yeah. People are going to get confused on who they're voting for.
I have to say we haven't actually had a talk on exactly what will happen if we have those two. I mean, there's been some jokes made about it, but definitely. I mean, both of these men have been around Nevada politics for a long time, and they certainly have constituencies that know their names well. But, for the average voter, that might be kind of confusing, and frankly, we haven't really had a discussion yet on what exactly the strategy is.
Well, there's going to be a lot of new voters coming to our...
Absolutely.
So they're prime examples of people who could be really confused about this.
Absolutely. Well, we'll just have to come out with and hopefully we will have a very strong Democratic message that people can relate to.
And that message would be?
Well, to be announced. There's a lot of things that we're looking at, but we're going to have a strong Democratic message that people can relate to, and that'll help them. That'll help them identify with whoever emerges from the Democratic
Okay,
primary.
Kirsten, we're going to welcome you back here very soon, and hopefully you'll be up here in person. But when you come on next time, I would love to hear you say what that Democratic message is, because I can't hear it on a national level or on a local level. But we love having you back on the program. Thanks for being here.
You.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
How long does it take to get to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park? Well, it's just 10 minutes east of Reno Spark on Highway 80, just minutes from the airport. And under construction is an interchange linking I-80 to TRI's 4-lane USA Parkway. And soon this parkway will connect Interstate 80 to Highway 50. How far is the world's largest industrial center from your home? It's a lot closer than you think. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, Safe Ride Home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe boating campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And to sort through all we've been through this morning here, we're joined by Dick Gammick, the Washoe County District Attorney, Scott Craigie with Alrus Consulting, and Larry Mathias, Executive Director of the Nevada State Medical Association. Let's start out, first of all, with Senator Beer's suggestion on cutting this gas tax. What do you think, Dick?
So what? I mean, 17 cents a gallon at $3, and that'll keep it maybe below $3 a gallon. It's insignificant, one. Two, the thing that concerns me the most is talking about taking out of the rainy day fund to do this. That's crazy. I know 2 states right now down south that are wishing they had a lot more money in their rainy day funds. That's for major catastrophes, not just on a whim here. I'm not supportive of the idea at all.
So you know what, Scott,
it could be a cloudy day fund.
Hang on a second. You know what, though, Scott? I mean, this is a very populist idea, and I think it will become very popular. Seeing the response from the other gubernatorial candidates almost immediately, and the governor, it sounds to me like this will have some momentum.
The whole focus of this movement depends on the governor. And as you know, tomorrow we have the governor for all 5 segments, first segment to the last minute. I can hardly wait to ask the governor how he feels about the prospect 9 weeks into a 2-year biennium to start drawing down the rainy day fund, a rainy day fund he had almost no money in during the last year and a half of the last biennium, literally living on the edge of a budget, knowing that there's a possibility of a recession coming here with fuel prices going up, insurance problems because of what's happened. It would be a miracle. It would be, I don't know, I can't think of the term, if the governor tomorrow said, you know, pretty interesting idea. I think there's no chance in heck.
I think the governor would rather swallow a live goldfish than to bring those 63 people back to Carson City.
He could do this by executive order, though, too, right?
I don't think so.
You know, I don't think that's true either. I saw that in the press release yesterday. I don't know for certain, but I would be very surprised if he could single-handedly suspend a tax, and I doubt very much he would choose to do it. He's a fiscal conservative.
Who's to say that the gas companies will lower their prices just because the 17-cent tax is out? Maybe they'll just boost them up to get more profit.
Ray, you're such a cynic.
Well, you know, I
agree. I think that's a real possibility.
Well, you know, it's after Labor Day, so gasoline prices automatically start to go down. We've seen the Gulf Coast recovering from this. You know, it goes back to what happened with President Bush and the National Reserve. You know, I'm against releasing oil from the National Reserve to lower gas prices, but when it came to a situation where gasoline or oil wasn't getting to the refineries, it made sense to release some and then put it back in. So I like the idea as a concept, but I don't think 17 cents is going to make a lot of difference to the majority of Nevadans.
Before the hurricane, most of the increases in the gasoline prices were already occurring. They were occurring because of the Middle East struggles and other things. Why was this proposal not made then?
I think it's really smart of Bob Beers to make this proposal because he's running for governor, and look at all the free advertising he gets off of this. He looks like he's working for the people. It may never go anywhere, but people are going to remember that Bob Beers fought for lower gas prices.
On a political level, you're right.
Let's change topics here. I want to go back to
non-issue. I mean, go.
Taxes are a Republican primary issue. It is probably the primary issue, and so I think everybody has to show that they hate taxes more than the other.
And I think Terry Kerr's comment is correct, which is let's hear what Jim Gibbons has to say about this, and it will be interesting to get his response.
I bet he hates taxes too.
I'm sure he does, but does he want to see this one get cut? Listening to Kirsten Searer, who I think is great, and I really appreciate her coming on the program, but that Democratic message, well, we're working on it. What's the story here? Is this why the Democrats just,
The message is we will have a message. And wait and see.
It seems nothing else you could throw out, well, we want to beat Republicans. I mean, that right there's a message.
That's their message. It's the only message.
I think it boils down to them bad, we better. Yeah. And you just have to flesh it out a little bit.
Democrats really do need to step back for a moment and do some polling, take some time. This is way early in the campaign. And even though, I watched the interview and I thought, gee, this is just skimming the surface. We're not touching a single issue. And maybe an opportunity lost. But at the same time, when they put their message package together this round, they really need, both on the legislative races and in this gubernatorial race, they need to be focused. And they need to get the themes and stay on the themes and pound them home and own them if they're going to win an election.
Well, I think it's not only statewide. Kirsten is a very intelligent and very accomplished woman. I think she will help to get their message together, and I think that's a good move.
The other thing, too, is I think this is the Democrats' problem on a national basis as well. But that comes back to the politicizing of Hurricane Katrina. I mean, we've seen this almost from the get-go. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, politicizing the hurricane? Sure. They do it every time there's a catastrophe. They jump right on board, start pointing fingers at each other instead of taking care of the issue. And the issues need to be taken care of.
Just came out today about who's to blame. Is it President Bush? Is it FEMA? Is it state and local agencies?
To blame for what? The hurricane? None of them created
Mother Nature.
Blame for the lack of response.
I got another question in this area, because this one really gripes me. When's personal responsibility come in on this? People moved into an area that's 12 feet below the sea level. They moved into an area and the local governments knew the levees were bad. People were warned to get out of the area that hurricane was going to hit. There's people today fighting law enforcement to stay there, even with all the damage and everything's been done. When are people held personally accountable?
A lot of the people that didn't get out don't have transportation out, and they're sick or infirm. You see the people dying; they're old.
A lot of those people I see on TV are not sick and infirm or anything else.
Why didn't they get buses down to those inner cities to help get those people out?
And that's where we're going to leave it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. For a quick bite and the best sandwiches in town, it's the Whistle Stop Deli. And for the best appetizers and menu selections and a large variety of cocktails, beers, and martinis, it's Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Don't forget you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online at nevadanewsmakers.com. Our next show, Governor Kenny Gwynn. It'll be a great show. Don't miss it.